Hello, everyone. I hope you're doing well. Haven't done a live stream in quite some time. Let me know if you can hear me okay. I'm hoping everything is working well. I'm just going to get kind of set up here a little bit. Let's see here. I want to share this out. How do I do this? Goodness gracious. We're going live. Okay. Hello. Can you please let me know in the chat if you can hear me okay? You can hear me. Okay, excellent. Great, guys. I hope you're all doing well, sheltering in place and being safe and sound. I know these are tough times and we have to keep ourselves kind of occupied and interested. I have a whole pile of projects that I'm working on, some stuff that's Tesla related, some stuff that's not. It just happens to be. Now today we're going to do some fun stuff because this is something I've been looking forward to doing for quite some time. But as with anything, I've been waiting for parts to arrive. So specifically, we're going to build some Lego today, and I thought you guys might want to join along. I know it's not technically Tesla related, but it is because some of the stuff we're going to be doing today is related to some Tesla stuff. So let me know in the questions, I should say in the comments, if you have any questions. But I have a whole pile of stuff here. You can see here behind me, this is some of my collection that I have. Some of my collection. I have a lot of Lego, but these are the ones that I like to collect. This is the modular series, and every January 1st, Tesla Lego come out with a new version of one of the modular kits and stuff. So I've just started filling out my second shelf. You probably can't see it there, but you can see here. So I've got one kind of like right there. And there's another one way over there, and I've got some more that are going to fill up this space. My wife has agreed to let me fill in that space. Benjamin, you have a quick question. Go ahead and shoot before we begin. I apologize for the mess. If you see some other stuff on the table, my wife has been busy making rocks. I tweeted this out. You guys may or may not be aware of that. This is one of the rocks that she's been making. She's been painting these rocks, and we've been going on walks and distributing them in various trails here where I live because it's a fun thing. People get out, they have to do something to get out and walk, and the kids particularly really like them. So on Facebook, there's a group called Aurora Rocks where people paint rocks and they distribute them, and the point is to go out and have some fun and find them. Here's another one that I really, really like. This is an M&M that she painted. It's like he's upset because he's been bitten into. It's kind of cute. And we'll get to the Lego stuff here in a second. I just thought I'd show you that. Here's one she made that looks like SpongeBob. The kids really like this stuff. All right. So let's get started here. First things first, a few weeks ago, I started working on some new designs. I discovered some software called Studio. You can look it up. It's stud.io. It's a website. You can go check it out. It's official software by a company or a website called Bricklink. That's where I buy my Lego parts. I'll show you that stuff here in a second. Anyways, it's 3D design software, and it gives you the full entire library. Whoop, I apologize. My camera. Sorry about that. My camera will die here occasionally. I got to remember to click that. So if I go offline, sorry, I'll just press the button. It'll come back. So I apologize for that. Anyway, so Bricklink is a fantastic website where you can buy any Lego part ever in existence. And they supply some software that allows you to build whatever you want using the full entire library at your disposal, including every color. And the nice thing about it is at the end, you can create fantastic 3D renders of your final design, as well as generate what look like identical instructions to what Lego supplies when you buy one of those kits. So having said that, if you look in the video description of the live stream, I've put 2 links in there to what we're going to be building today. We're building a Model 3 that I've designed, as well as a Cybertruck. We'll do that one second. So the links will take you to the forum post on my forum at Tesla Owners Online, and they're PDF instructions, and they look just like Lego. And at the end of the PDF instructions, you're going to find a full bill of materials of all the parts that you need to build the very same thing, including the official Tesla. I keep saying Tesla. The official Lego part number of the part that you need, and you'll see a comma, and that's the color code. At least on the Model 3, I've supplied, I think it's 5 different PDFs in the colors that are officially available from Tesla. So you can download whichever one you want, and you have a full bill of materials, and you can go to Bricklink and order the parts if you want and build them. They're completely free. Go and download them, and I hope you guys enjoy that. So without much more ado, I've got a whole pile of parts here that I bought on Bricklink. I have a huge Lego collection, but a lot of it's in storage, and I wasn't about to go through and dig out everything that I needed. So I just went online and bought, based on my instructions, all the parts that I needed. I bought enough parts to build 1 Model 3 in white that matches my car, and enough parts to build 2, maybe 3 Cybertrucks. Oh, by the way, I should mention that the type of vehicle that I'm going to be building, let me pull one or two down here. I'll show you what I'm talking about. So I have a couple here, and I built these to what I call minifig creator series scale. So here's an example. This is one that comes with the, I think it's the garage, yeah. So it's a little, what is this, a tow truck, and it fits a minifig inside. Typically, this scale that Lego officially builds to is usually 6 to 8 studs wide. So I wanted to keep both of these designs in that frame of size. Here's a pink Cadillac. This comes with the new diner. It's really cute. Anyways, this one we'll put two minifigs beside. So the Model 3 fits 1, and the Cybertruck, if I remember correctly, I have to look at my instructions, but it'll hold 3 to 4 minifigs. So we'll have fun with that. All right. So what I'm going to do here is I'll just show you very quickly the instructions. And this is what we're going to be building. This is the Model 3 in white. The instructions do include the instructions to build the Supercharger that I designed as well. And so it's all step by step. You can follow it just like this. You can download the PDF. And the other one we're going to be building, if I can pull it up here. Where did it go? Resume. Is this in iBooks? Where did I put it? Sorry. Now I just lost it. Oh, son of a gun. Oh, library. Where did it go? Sorry, guys. Just give me a second here. I lost it. I stuffed it all in iBooks because that's where I like to keep my PDFs. And I don't know where it went. All right, let's, oh, here it is, Safari. Duh. Okay, right. And then I have the Cybertruck. Okay, so this is what the Cybertruck looks like. The instructions include the little Franz character with his hammer and his 2 steel balls, as well as an ATV that I designed. We're not going to be building those 2. We're just going to be building the truck. So let's start with the Model 3 first. Even though I designed it, I can't always remember all the different steps. So, guys, can you please let me know in the comments if you still hear me? It looks like the questions had stopped. So, and my camera keeps going offline. Sorry about that. All right, so one of the parts that we need is one of these little base plates, preformed, black. And then we need some other stuff. You know what? I really should be organizing. That's part for the Cybertruck. I tell you, I've been looking forward to building this for so long because I've been getting all my parts here, kind of dribs and drabs coming in. And it's been frustrating. Where the heck are those parts? Oh, here it is. So Oh, you want to see? Yes, yes, I apologize for that. Yes, you're absolutely right. I will point the camera down a little tighter on what I'm building here. Sorry, you won't necessarily see me. Hopefully that's okay. Let me tighten this up. There you guys. So we have this part right here. Maybe I'll turn the instructions. Hopefully you guys can see that too. So we do that. Hopefully there's not too many reflections as to what we're doing here. It's funny on Bricklink because you end up, when you put your bill of materials in there and it shows up with the parts, I mean, because anybody can sell their parts online, there are times when one vendor may not have everything that you need. And that's frustrating because now you got to pay shipping from somebody else to get the parts. Is that good? Okay, good. Thanks, guys. And then you end up getting the parts from different suppliers. So sometimes you end up spending more in shipping than what it's worth. But you know what? I don't care. It's fun. And when I'm done with all these parts, I get to display these little cars in my collection here on the shelf. And they're a great conversation piece. You know, my wife and I don't collect art. It's not our thing. We don't have paintings. My mother is a really great artist, by the way. She does watercolors and stuff. So I have a little bit of her stuff, but I don't have anything commercial in terms of like art that I buy. I really like the Lego stuff. I mean, since I was a kid, I've been building Lego, and here I am, you know, 50 years of age, still building Lego. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. It's just kind of fun. But the modular series are wonderful because they're really wonderful pieces of art. And if you've never built one, you probably would never really understand what I'm talking about. But let me tell you, they are wonderful. If you've ever built one, you'll understand what I'm talking about. The sheer amount of ingenuity that goes into building those things is astonishing. All right, so, and then I have the windshield here. We'll talk about that here a little shortly. Let's just get on with building here. Okay, hopefully I have enough parts here to begin. Okay, so let me put this more in frame so you guys can see the steps. Hopefully you get some glare out of there so you don't see. All right, I'll deal with that later. All right, so first step, we need these plates. So a couple of 2x3 plates there. And black one here on the rear, and then another one here on the back. As I mentioned a little bit earlier, the studio software that you can download is wonderful because it, like I said, it gives you full access to the entire Lego library of parts in whatever color you want, no matter how old the parts are. So you can really go through the list and really mash things together. The sheer amount of parts that they've developed over the years is astonishing. And one of the great things that also does is that you can look at your final design, and it will do two things. It will do an interference analysis to make sure that you don't have any parts that are interfering, like colliding. It's called a collision analysis. So they make sure that your parts are not colliding with one another. And the other thing that it does is structural analysis. So if you find a part that might be a little loose and stuff, it'll tell you. So we're going to build this piece here, and then we've got another one here is an extension. And let's see here, what are we dealing with? Hold on here. Before I get too far ahead of myself, I got to make sure that I'm not screwing this up. So we got an extension there. Oh, right, okay. It threw me off there for a second. Okay. There's not that many steps in building this. And like I said, the software that I use, the studio software, is great because you can take your Lego design and deconstruct it in whatever order that you want to build the instructions. So typically, after playing with it for a few days, because it was my first time really using the software, what I ended up discovering that worked really well is I would just actually build the whole thing, and then at the end, what I would do is actually do a disassembly from kind of the top down, or maybe wheels first, and then that way it generated the instructions in kind of like in the reverse order, and then I would just generate the instructions in the reverse order, and that seemed to work quite well. It took me a few tries to get it just the way I wanted, but that seemed to work. There's a little bit of a learning curve to it, but once you're done, it's really quite nice. All right, where are these stupid gray parts that I'm missing? Boy, I sure hope. I thought I did a whole inventory here, and oh, there's my camera again. Sorry about that. The camera went off again. Should have did a full inventory. I did a whole inventory of all these parts when I first got them, and hopefully I wasn't missing anything. What I'm looking at here is these two gray car pieces here. I know what that is. That's going to be over there. Son of a gun. Where are the parts? I have another bag hanging out over there. This is a bag full of Cybertruck stuff. Okay. This is a bit of a showstopper. What happened? Hold on. I got to check. Hold on. Let me just... Sorry about that. I'm just going to check my Bricklink account to make sure that I received all the parts. This is embarrassing. Okay. When you use the studio software, it generates a bill of materials that you upload. So from the instructions and the parts that you build, it knows exactly what to order. And that is precisely what I did when I ordered all the parts, but right now I seem to have a discrepancy that I didn't notice until now. I'm just checking all the individual orders that I placed. Try to find exactly which one it came from. It wasn't very smart on my part to not check that. Might have missed it. But that's okay. This one's not that big of a showstopper because it's just the attachment for the wheels, and I can always retrofit it later. I probably have some in my inventory. Well, look at that. I screwed up. It looks like for some reason it is not in my list of parts. Well, not a big deal. We will just move on because it's just the wheel attachment. All right, let me zoom back in. Old man fails? Yes, exactly. Okay, let's do that. Hello, Rob from Australia. I love Australia. God, I got to go back. It's so nice there. All right, so we're going to move on. We're going to skip this step here because it looks like I screwed up. I didn't get the right part. All right, but that's okay. We can just keep moving. All right, so we've got some little black ones here that goes in these corners. Just remember, folks, I designed this several weeks ago, and the instructions are not ingrained in my brain. This is something that I just built as I went along. And the good thing this supplier here gave me most of the parts that I really needed. So right going there. The other thing too is I chose the colors. Whoop! I chose the colors on this design. See, I screwed up in part of the instructions right there. I got an overhang that I didn't pay attention to. That's okay. There's probably some other parts coming in here that'll fix that. I lost my train of thought there for a second. Son of a gun. All right. Most of the stuff will come together later when we move along. I thought I spent a lot of time on the instructions to make sure that I had everything laid out exactly the way I wanted, but it looks like I might have messed up a small part, but it's not that big of a deal. Let's see here. So I've got this one. Okay, that's the front of the car. So this brick goes here in the middle. This one goes across the back. How many of you, I'm curious because I'm not really paying attention to the comments, but how many of you have heard of SNOT? S-N-O-T. Anyone? Bueller? Just so you know, SNOT is a term that's used when you build Lego. It's called studs not on top. And typically with Lego, you'd think that you're building always, kind of bottom up in such a way that you always have the studs facing up. But there are times when you need parts facing, say, 90 degrees or something like that. So I'll give you an example here. If I take this pink Cadillac, you notice it has a lot of smooth surfaces, including sort of the front bumper and the rear bumper, and they're 90 degrees. That's called SNOT. If I pull off the front bumper here, you'll see that there are studs facing this way. So you would build parts normally in this direction, but because you put a certain part on there that has studs facing out this way, you can get different shapes. So you can get proper looking front fascias on cars and bumpers and stuff. And that's precisely what I did here with this Model 3 design, is that I've built some SNOT parts. That'll become a little more apparent here as we go down the build process. You'll see what I'm talking about. So we have, let's see here. Two there. Hopefully I got that right. Okay, and then we have this one here that goes across the front. So despite me not having that gray piece, it looks like things will solidify here shortly. I'll make sure that all these parts kind of fit together. The nice thing about it is that the gray pieces fit in from the bottom, so once I do locate them or find some of my stash of things, actually I wonder if this truck has a couple. Does that one have any? No, that one doesn't. I wonder if the other, I got another car here, hold on. No, that's a different design too. But anyways, I'm sure I have some of those parts lying around. My friend Ryan, Nerds for Hire, is in the chat, and he's asking, will it have the new referral rims? That's about as close as I could get, Ryan, to the referral rims. Hope you like that. They are pretty sexy, by the way. All right, so we're underneath here, and we need to put some of these parts. I got to get my orientation correct here, because so what we're dealing with here is these two little round studs. We have to build two sets of those. I'll be honest with you, I'm really looking forward to building the Cybertruck in real life to see how that plays out. Oh, my camera again. Sorry, my camera keeps shutting off, and I don't know how to turn off the timer. I apologize. What are you guys doing for entertainment during this whole thing? I mean, assuming that your work is over and you're doing your thing, I'm curious to see what people are doing out there to keep themselves entertained. Like myself, I'm actually doing some other stuff. I've been teaching myself some programming with the Arduino. I'm building a project downstairs right now as we speak. I may or may not do a video on that. Okay, so here is the example of, if you can see the instructions here, here's an example of studs not on top, or SNOT. So what we're going to be doing here is taking a 1x4 normal brick that happens to have 90-degree studs on the other side like that. And when we put that into this position, that gives us the ability to take Lego part. Oh, I missed. There's a couple of these little guys I've got to fit in there. Two more little round studs here on the bottom. Sometimes it's easy when you're building stuff. I mean, when you're building things in person, it's pretty easy to see in your building process if you've got gaps or something like that. But sometimes when you're doing things in 3D, you have to tear things apart and go back and put things in. But the nice thing is with the software, as I said, you have full access to all of the parts ever made. So if you're looking for something in particular, it's nice to be able to go through. So anyways, we're going to put this part in here. And then what that does is that now that gives us a completely flush surface here, but studs just enough where we could take, say, for example, if I needed this plate, I can actually put it in this position. And that is precisely what's going to end up happening for the rear and the front of the car, because I've got some fascia parts that are going to give us the shape that we're looking for. Otherwise, if you didn't do that, you just end up with parts that just look really stupid and dumb. All right, so we need a, according to this instruction here, a little flat tile here, and then a white 1x2 tile here. All right, here's the fun part. When I was designing this, I was trying to figure out, like, how am I going to make it look like the Model 3 interior? So I tried different things. Obviously, with the Model 3, with the center screen, you got to think a little bit about well, placement, like what kind of parts are you going to use? And I think I found a good combination that will work here. We're going to get to that very shortly here, and I think you guys are probably going to like what I've come up with. Okay. So now we have a black tile that goes like that. And let's see here, where are we here? Right, we're starting to build the side of the car. Here's another example of studs not on top that I designed. So we're using these little black brackets. Hopefully you can see that with studs on the side. And what I've done is I've lined these up on the side of the car in such a way. I can find all the parts here. Son of a gun. Okay. Right, I'll give you an example here. Just do one side of the car. So in this case here, we put studs on the side of the car. You can see that. And what that's going to allow me to do is build up the walls in such a way we get a flat surface on the side. That is what I did. And I'm pretty proud of my design that way. Right. Okay, now we're getting into, okay, one more here. Here. Let me check the comments here, make sure that we're okay. Love your channel. Keep it going. Thank you. I appreciate that. Please subscribe. You know what, an observation that I found about my YouTube channel. Let me just back out a little bit. You guys can see me. There we go. I'll just reset the screen there again. About my YouTube channel, you know, I was thinking, hey, people are going to have lots of time at home and sit home and watch me do different things, watch a lot more of the back channel and the YouTube stuff. But you know what I found? No, there's too much competition with Netflix and Amazon Prime and stuff that people actually, the viewership on YouTube has dropped considerably. I've actually looked at my analytics, and it's like, what the hell? Everybody's sitting at home. Like, why are you not watching the YouTube videos? Anyways, just an observation, but I appreciate you guys sitting in with me and having some fun. All right, here's another example. What I want to do, if you can see that, now I want to carry these studs up a little higher so I get more surface area. So we're going to use a 2x2 right angle bracket, and we're going to layer that right on top. And then we're going to carry that across. So you can see I've got 3 studs high worth of surface area to attach more stuff to. So I'm just going to use these bits here and just build up the walls. I used a similar technique for this for doing the Cybertruck. You know what's interesting about the Cybertruck when you build it in Lego? One thing that I discovered is that it actually lends itself a little better because of the right angle shapes. Getting curved surfaces on Lego, especially at this small scale, is really tough. DRK says the content we need for these weird days. Yeah, I know. I'll be honest, guys, I was looking forward to doing this Lego thing for quite some time. But like I said earlier, I was waiting for all of these parts. I didn't have them. And because the mail and the shipping and stuff has slowed down considerably because of the COVID thing, I've been waiting for these things for literally 3 weeks. Otherwise, I would have done it a lot sooner. Anyways, let me zoom in here a little bit more so you guys can see where my instructions are in building. So hopefully that works for you. All right, here's the fun part. I'm going to start building the interior. All right, so what I did is I decided here okay, so this is the forward part of the car, this is the rear of the car, is I needed a way to be able to represent the flat screen in the Model 3. Now, I got to find a tile here. Just give me a second. I need a flat tile. So what I did is I decided to use one of these little 1x1s with a clip on the end, and that'll become obvious here in a moment. So I'm going to put that in that position. And just bear with me for a momente because I need a flat tile. So I'm just going to dump this out. Again, it's one of those cases when I built the car that I needed to buy parts from different people. So some of the parts are kind of spread out. These ones here, all the gray ones that you might see, that's all for the Cybertruck. That I know for the most part. I did buy enough pieces right here. There's probably some extra Model 3 stuff. Haha, you know what? See all these little red? All right, I bought enough parts to make 4 superchargers. So anyways, right. So I need a little black tile to go in this position. Once again, if some of you are joining a little bit later, please make sure you check the live stream description, because I have 2 links in there for the instructions on how to build the Model 3 in your color of choice, including all the bill of material parts that you can use to buy parts on Bricklink or go through your own library to buy to build things that you want, and for the Cybertruck, of course, as well. All right, so now that I have that flat surface, oh, that's a wrong piece. I put a 1x2 tile in there, and I need the big black one. All right, let me show you what I'm dealing with here. So, okay, so now we have, hopefully I turned that in such a way as you guys can see a little bit. Guess we have a little clip there. So it's going to become pretty obvious what's going to happen here next, is we're going to take one of these little pieces that the clip is going to go to, and we're going to use a flat gray tile. Now, in the instructions, I show a particular tile that's actually printed by LEGO. May or may not be available. In this case, I don't have one. They're hard to come by, so we'll just use a gray tile like that. And if we put that here in the car, now we have the semblance of the Model 3 screen. Yes, you can put it in the middle if you really want to, but I also have a steering wheel that's got to go into this location. Remember, this this particular model, because I use this particular type of base plate, which is centered, doesn't lend itself to putting 2 people in there, specifically because of the type of windshield. I'll show you that here a little bit later. The type of windshield I wanted to replicate on the Model 3 is very difficult to do, so I had basically had to design it with a single occupant, if you will. So that's why I did it like that. Have I watched Joe Rogan's second interview with Elon? Yes, I did. I watched it last night. I meant to watch it all day yesterday, but I just got so busy doing other things that I didn't watch it until late in the evening. You know, Elon's a smart guy. He's fun to watch, but, you know, a lot of the cases, like, Joe's a smart guy, and he asks some good questions, but certainly not the questions I would be asking. I'd be asking more about internal processes at Tesla, but that's just me. I want to know how the damn cars are designed. That's my thing. All right, so let's see here. Maybe some of these. I got some clear pieces. Why I chose clear is beyond me. I don't know. I guess these are all in here. There's 2 in there. That's Cybertruck junk. All right. I don't know why I did that, but I called for some clear pieces here on the bottom. I should have made them black. Maybe I'll revise the instructions, but either way, I'll just put those in there. Where do those parts go? Are they kind of messed up? So yeah, sometimes, I don't know what it is. You know, people interview Elon, and it's like, if you follow Elon and Tesla as closely as I do, and I'm assuming a lot of you guys do too, is that, you know, it's always the same questions that come up all the time. It's like, okay, guys, you know, stop it with the softball questions. Ask something more technical. The problem with Elon, I find, and if you watched the Joe Rogan interview last night, is that he starts talking about Neuralink, but, pardon me, the camera just did its thing again. The thing about Neuralink is that he's not good at explaining things, and it just, and I think Elon sometimes has a tendency to talk about things that are so far in the future as if they're actually going to happen tomorrow. So I don't know. He's still fun to watch. At least he didn't smoke dope this time, which is kind of nice. Doesn't give the shorts something to run with, you know what I mean? That's always annoying. All right, well, I'm going to have to skip this part here because I don't know why I'm missing those stupid parts. I'll come back to it later. All right. All right, some more interior stuff. Yeah, we got some slopey bits right here. So we got some, these little guys. I also tried to mimic the back seat surface area as best I could. Actually, if I remember correctly, I actually did design this in such a way that it'll actually support 2 minifigs. But you can't put hats on them because they're too high. You have to put hair on them or something like that. So just be aware of that if you're If you're building one of these, there's room to do it, if I remember correctly. My memory is not what it used to be, you know. I'm an old man now. Yeah, the original. Oh, yeah. Apophis says that podcast hurt our pockets. Not Joe's, the first one. I don't know what you're talking about. All right, so we have two of these little guys that raise up the area here inside. All right, we're getting there. We're getting there. This little black piece here in the back. Hopefully you guys can see what I'm doing here. If I'm going too fast, please let me know. So this is what we have so far. Hopefully you guys can see this. I have my computer here, so it's a little easier for me to look at this screen rather than the one here on the video camera, but hopefully you can see that. So we have a Model 3 screen there, a black steering wheel. We have some posts. Those are used to hold the windshield up later, and some flat areas here that simulate a little bit of the back seat. It's the best I can do. At this scale, as I mentioned, it can be very difficult to get the sizing that you really need. All right, so now we're going to build some of the side of the car. So I've used some of these 1x2 brackets again, like that, with the studs. And we're using these in an upside down manner. And the reason we're doing that is to give us a spot on the bottom to put some rails to build down the bottom of the car. It'll become apparent here once I get to that step here shortly. So those are going on like that. So I have brackets going this way. So those are the black ones, like on this side, going down in this direction. We have brackets going in the upwards direction. And now we're building more brackets going the opposite direction, upside down. So hopefully that makes sense. The nice thing about this is that you really learn from building a lot of Lego over the years, the spatial relationship with building things differently. I mean, Lego these days, the sheer amount of pieces and parts that you can use, it's not always layered this way. You can actually turn things 90 degrees, 180 degrees. There's some amazing, actually, if you want to see the most amazing building techniques that I've ever seen in a Lego kit, is to build the Saturn V rocket. If you can still get your hands on them, they've stopped making it, so it's not available anymore. But if you can find one, oh my God, it's the coolest thing in the world. And if you've ever been a kid and you've built Lego before, and you see how the designers were thinking in a different direction to get that round shape, again, like I said, with Lego, it's difficult to get round things. It'll blow your mind. I highly recommend that kit. If you can get your hands on one, it's amazing. The other one that's really cool is, and I might turn the camera around here to show you guys here in a second. Let me just put this last. So this is what I was talking about. So I've built these brackets and sideways so that we can get some flat tiles on the bottom. And what that does is it gives me a flat surface. Let me show you something here. Let me turn the camera around. All right. See that? Sorry about that. That is the Millennium Falcon. That kit is almost 8,000 pieces. It's a meter wide. Hopefully that can be, I don't have a banana for scale, but you can see it is huge and it's heavy too. Anyways, super challenging kit to build. Sorry, I'm going to zoom back out here and reset the camera. Apologize. Is that okay, guys? Put that back down. Okay, that'll probably have to do for now. Anyways, super challenging kit to build. It took me on and off working on it, probably a year and a half to build that. I was not in a rush because I wanted to savor the build. I actually did a video. If you look through my my channel, you'll see I did a quick video on it, specifically the building process of the coffee table that I bought. That's an old IKEA coffee table they don't make anymore. Before I actually bought that kit, I was looking for something to display it on because if you own Lego and you want to put it on display, one of the worst things that can happen is you get a bunch of of dust on it. It's very difficult to clean because I don't glue my Lego together. Everything is native. So getting dust on anything is a pain in the butt. So yeah, I was looking for a coffee table or some kind of display case, and I ran across that one, and I thought it was the ideal design because the glass surface of that coffee table can be raised by replacing the tubes. And so it was originally about, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 inches off the glass, and I raised it enough to actually display it. So anyways, long story short, that's what I bought to make sure that I had a display case that would work for that particular car. All right, where are we at here? Okay, so now we're at this part here where we're going to start filling in the middle pieces. So we're going to put a brick here, here, and here. So on this side of the car, we have a relatively flat surface. You can see that. We're going to put some flat tiles on there in a moment. I'll flip the car around and do exactly the same thing on the other side. Obviously, building this and talking at the same time takes way, way longer than actually sitting down and actually building it, because there's not a lot of parts in this particular thing. So if you decide to build one, I mean, you're talking maybe 15, 20 minutes tops to build this kind of thing. I'm just yakking. All right, now we got to fill in some of the back area here a little bit. So we're just going to put some little white studs just to give us a flat surface here in the back. It's really starting to take shape here now. My design is, I'm happy with this so far. Other than the screw up that I had by missing parts for the wheels. All right, so I'm starting to build up the front here a little bit. Sorry, let me just pause here for a second. You can see where things are coming together. All right, and I left a spot here for these little guys. I decided to put mirrors on this car, and I thought these particular pieces worked quite well, which is, hopefully you can see that, one of those little guys. And then I have some silver bits here in a second that we can put on the backside. That simulates the mirror part, which are these two little round pieces you can see there. So somewhere in my bits, they're in here. I gotta find them. Just give me a moment there. If I can't find them, I can always come back and add them later. Not that big of a showstopper right at the moment. Cybertruck pieces. You can tell by all the gray. Not this gray. Cybertruck gray. All right, I'm going to move on. I don't want to stall this any longer than I have to. Okay, so now we're going to build the back of the car. So let me see here. What have I done? All right, so I've got a little bit of a headrest there in the back. You can see. There you go. That piece right there. We have a headrest. And then a couple of black flat tiles to kind of finish it off. Okay. Now, because because I have a Performance Model 3, I decided to put a spoiler on this car. So you'll see how I accomplish that here shortly. I'm just putting some of these flat tiles in here to get me some of the parts that I'm looking for. And you'll see here shortly once I build this up. As I mentioned many times before during this stream, building things at this scale takes some creative thinking because you can't always get the shapes you want. All right, so now we're going to start building the front. So there's the back of the car. Let me stop for a second. There's the back of the car. You can see there's a, oh, son of a gun. Sorry about that. Camera again. Okay, so here in the back of the car, you can see there's a headrest there. So you can put a minifig there as well as a driver here in the front. I'll flatten it out right here. We're going to start filling in the front now. We need to start getting some of the curvature here on the front. So I've got these little 1x2 tile pieces that have sort of a half curve. We've seen those probably before. So that one's going to start doing this here in the front of the car. So there's one on each side. And then I have some flat tiles in here. Where's the other one? Here it is right here. Okay. So it's not finished yet. What I did with the design is tried to replicate some of the look of the front of the car, where you've got the hood and you've got the wheel arches that kind of rise up a little bit. You'll see once I get a little further. All right, so here on the side of the car is where we're going to start putting these flat white tiles to fill in the doors. Originally, when I designed it, I used 1x6 flat tile pieces like that. But when I was looking at the design and going over it during the instruction phase, I thought, you know what? Now it starts looking like a coupe. It's not a 4-door. So what I did is I substituted with 1x3s. So when I put these tiles on, let me finish up one side here and I'll give you a view of what I'm talking about. And I feel that this better represents the fact that Model 3 is a 4-door car, because, there we go, because you got the split down the middle. Now, it would be really awesome if we could get half tiles. So this is one of the smallest tiles you can get. It's a 1x2. Now, if we could get half of that size, I would have put a flat tile right about there and a gray one underneath to simulate the door handles. But unfortunately, we can't get any smaller in terms of scale for this stuff. So it is what it is. All right, so we built that flat side of the car. We just repeat the process on the other side. So same thing. We just take these gray tiles and just kind of lay them down. Repetition, right? It's pretty fast when you go down this route. All right, so now we have flat surfaces on both sides of the car. It's starting to come together. This is the part where I have stupid wheels, and I forgot those pieces, so we'll come back to that later. So at this part of the instruction, you put your axles in, and then your wheels. Now, what I did here with the wheels, hopefully you guys can see this, I'll bring it up to the camera, is that these are the wheels that I used. Focus, focus. And you can see a little bit of a semblance. So those look like turbines a little bit, but I went and got these little tiny wheel covers that look like a lant. They look more like, I don't know, aero wheels maybe. I don't know. Anyways, because there's a stud here in the middle, you can just take these wheel covers and you can just kind of stick it on top. And now you get something that looks more maybe like the referral wheels or whatever. So it's not quite so inset. So I'm hoping my Lego guy gets a chance to curb these wheels just as much as everybody else does. Sorry, I couldn't resist. All right, so I'm going to put these hubcaps on because I already know this particular step, so I'm just going to kind of do that 4 different ways. Sorry about the joke, guys. It's just I couldn't help myself. Everybody curbs their wheels. I am deathly afraid of curbing the referral wheels that I got. Oh my God, they're too nice to lose to mishaps. So I have to be super careful. If you guys remember, I did a video one time when I still had my Model X. I curbed one of my wheels in a parking lot because I was going around a curve where there was one of those barrier gates, whatever. And it was such a tight turn. It was in an underground, and I felt my car go up over the curb, and then it slid down. And I was just like, oh, that didn't sound very good. So yeah, I was not a happy camper that day. All right, moving along here. So yeah, this step here, put the wheels on, put the hubcaps on. My gosh, I can't believe that I don't have those things. Well, I'm sure you guys know what it's going to look like once I'm done here. All right, let's move on. Now we get to the part where we put the windshields on. Let me show you the windshield. So what I did is I went for a smoky gray or a smoked color windshield. Looks like that. So we use 2 of those on the car. So 1 forward and 1 in the reverse, and it just clicks on in that position. And the other one goes in the opposite direction. Camera again. All right, so now I have to move the screen ever so slightly. There we go, so it clears. That's good. So now you can start seeing, it's starting to look like a Model 3. Now, once we build the rear and the front here, you'll understand what I'm talking about. So we'll just kind of set this apart because now we get into the sub-assemblies now. So we're going to build the back end of the car. So we're going to take 2 of these 2x3s, and we're going to put a 1 here in the middle. Hopefully, Can you guys see what I'm doing here? Are you guys still in the chat? Let me know. Or if I'm just yakking here, not answering questions. All right. Let me see here. Now we're taking another one, and we're going to put that there. And then these two side pieces, which are these little guys. Oh, we're here. Okay, good. Thanks, guys. All right, so we're taking one of these and putting that on the back. So now you can start seeing, now we're getting some shape here. We're getting some curvature. That's the bottom bumper. And we take a black tile and run that across the back here. And here's another one of these really funky pieces. So this is another one that gives us the studs not on top look that we're looking for. That is going to go into the back position. So now I have, hopefully you guys can see that. So now I have studs here on the top. That'll become apparent here in a second why I did it like that. Now, as I said before, trying to get curvatures that would simulate the real look of the car is a little bit difficult, but there's a technique that I've learned some time ago called height layering. I guess is probably about the best way I can explain it. So in this case, we've got a curvature like that, which represents the back or the lower part of the bumper on the Model 3. And now I use a flatter, here's another one here. Now I used one of these before on the front of the car. So on the front of the car, we've got two of them that give us this curvature. And in this case, we're going to use two more here on the rear of the bumper. And once I put this in position, you'll understand what I'm talking about. And now I need a gray flat piece. So just give me a moment. I gotta find it here in the parts. Let me tell you, I better not be missing parts for the Cybertruck because that's going to be a real embarrassment for me. That's not going to be fun. I'm relying on the Bricklink people to make sure that the people that sent me the parts made sure that they did their proper inventory. I did my part and make sure I ordered the right parts, but sometimes you never know, right? Oh, I wonder if it's in here. I would love to listen to some music, but unfortunately with YouTube and their copyright police, I would get flagged, and that's no fun. So we can't have music. All right, so I'm going to kind of move along here a little bit. Oh, this is really ticking me off. All right, can I steal one from someone else? Let's see here. What have I got? What have I got? What have I got? Anyways, let's move on. What I've done here in this bumper is there's a gray flat tile that goes right there and it simulates the license plate. Haha. All right. And then here on the top, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to use the same two pieces that we used there across this way. And then I got some funky tail lights. If I can find them in my bits, they might have come in some of the Cybertruck. Might have come from one of the Cybertruck suppliers. They're red. They should stick out like a sore thumb, yeah? You think? Unless I still have a Lego bag over here that I might have missed. Give me a second. Let me just double check. I don't know where they are. I'll probably run across them here somewhere. Anyway, sorry about that, camera. Right. What I have are some, they're missing right now. I don't know where the hell they went. So these are 1x1 quarter tiles, half tiles. Anyways, I got some clear red ones, and they go here on the back of the bumper. Hopefully you guys can see that. Here in these two corners to simulate the two downward sloping tail lights. All right, so what I was talking about earlier, why I put a stud here on the top, is that's to build the spoiler. So what we're going to do is just going to take a 1x4 tile and stick that here on top, and then build it up with these black pieces. Now I get the orientation correct. I should be able to get this to simulate a spoiler. Pretty simple. Let me put it together here and I'll show you what I'm talking about. All right, so there we go. So now we have a black performance spoiler on the rear of the car. And here's the fun part. So this is the rear of the car. You take this piece, which is normally you would build things like that, but because we have studs facing this ways, we can turn this piece 90 degrees and attach it to the back of the car, and lo and behold, now you get the rear of the car that's got some curvature to it. See what I'm talking about? So that technique is called studs not on top. It's pretty popular today. Back when I was a kid, these parts didn't exist, so you couldn't do anything like that, but now we can. All right, so one more sub-assembly. We're going to build the front of the car now. And what I decided to do was in order to get the curvature of the front of the car, was to use a curved, what is this, a 2x6 plate. And we just build that up a little bit. And I wanted to simulate the lower part of the car that had some black on it. So we just put some of these little black pieces. I'll show you what it's going to look like here in a second. Okay, so now we have something that looks like that. And we have these little pieces. They're 1x1, but they're inset a little bit with a stud facing 90 degrees, right? Why would you do that? Well, that's because you can put stuff on the front to give you some more texture. It'll become apparent here in a second once I'm done. Right, and now we have two more of these larger curved pieces. We use these for the bumper on the back of the car. I already showed you that before. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take that and sandwich it on the front, like so, 90 degrees. So that's what we use those two stanchions, right? So now we got the front of the car starting to look like the Model 3 right in the front. And then we have two little headlights. Now these are, some people call them cheese wedges, cheese slices. These are smoked. You can get them in clear as well. They're 1x1. There you go. It's a 1x1 slope. And you put that on the front of the car like that. Now you get sort of a frog look, but you'll see. It'll make sense here in a second. So we're going to take that, and there's a part here that sticks out. So that will click into that position. Sorry, I'm just going to get the front bumper back on. And then we have this front slope piece. This is what I was talking about before, where I wanted to make sure that I was able somehow to replicate at this scale the two different curves of the hood on the front of the car as well as the bumpers. So I use that layering technique here on the front of the car the same way as I did with the bumpers, right? So you got the lower bumper that sticks out a little bit further than, say, where the license plate area would stick. So if we just put that in the front of the car, now you got a Model 3 that kind of looks like that. So you've got the hood in the front that comes and slopes down, and then you've got these two areas that simulate sort of the look of the Model 3. And on the bottom, if you flip it over, you've got these two little black pieces, and you just put them here on the bottom. They have studs facing in the opposite direction, and they're roundish. And what that does is that it just solidifies it, just locks in the front bumper area so that it doesn't fly off when you're playing with it. Sometimes I found some Lego kits that tend to do that, where things don't line up properly. So I have extra parts there. So as best I can right now, figuring that I'm missing the parts for the wheels, maybe I can find something else here that might work. Sorry about the camera. All right, sorry about that. All right, camera again. Yeah, I'm definitely missing those pieces. I don't know where the heck they are, but maybe I can simulate it by just kind of holding it up like that. There you go. So there's your There's your Lego Model 3. You get all the parts right, done this way. That's what it will look like. Personally, I think it's, I mean, it's as good a facsimile as you can get based at this scale. And like I said, this scale is designed for the little minifigs. Let me grab a guy here and I'll stick him in. Grab a guy. Where's a guy? I got a guy? I don't have a guy right now. Right. Okay. Anyways, trust me, he does fit in there. You can put 2 minifigs. The one on the back, you can't have a hat or anything like that. They tend to be a little high. So if you just use a man with regular hair or something like that, it'll definitely fit. So that's what the Model 3 looks like. Pending me getting, looks like I'm missing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pieces, but I'm gonna have to dig them up. All right. So that's what it looks like. I hope you like it. Like I said, if you look in the video description, I put links to the instructions on building this car in whatever color that you see fit. So all the parts are listed in there. My car is white. I wanted it white, but there you go. All right, let's set this aside for a moment. And maybe we'll take a little time here, and maybe we can build this, if I have the right parts. Famous last words, eh, guys? We'll build the Supercharger. This one was challenging. I actually used an illegal building technique. What is an illegal building technique? Well, an illegal building technique is where you build something where the parts are actually not designed to go that way. And I am missing a critical part, it looks like. Son of a gun. This is really ticking. You know what? Guys, I'm going to skip building the Supercharger. Let me just double check here. Let me open this up before I put my foot in my mouth too fast, because I kind of did that with the Model 3. I'm missing some pieces. It looks like I have everything for the Cybertruck, and that's the one that's I think you guys are really, really going to like. So let me just double check here. There's a couple of critical pieces that I need to really finish off the Supercharger, and it looks like I may or may not have them. You know what? Let's try it anyways. By the way, what are all the blue pieces for? That's because I also designed a public level 2 charger. And why did I do that? Well, it's because I wanted some flexibility for when I built when I put these on display in my my little display here behind me. I'll just pull out all these pieces and just kind of set them aside here. Because I can build most of the Supercharger here and show you what it kind of looks like when it's all finished. Minus a couple pieces looks like I'm missing. Son of a gun. Dax says, Trev, the pieces you're looking for with my passport. Oh, yes, my passport. I've located my passport, Dax. Did you know that? Literally the day after I got back from LA. You probably already knew that, though. For those of you who don't know what the heck I'm talking about, when I went to the Cybertruck event back last November, literally the day before I was to fly out, I was packing, and I could not find my passport. As a Canadian to travel in the U.S., when you fly, you need a passport. So, yeah, talk about panic. Anyways, to make a long story short, I described the whole thing in the podcast episode, Tesla Owners Online Podcast. The episode, I forget what the number is, but anyways, the episode is called The Passport Incident. And I explained my whole trials and tribulations in that particular episode. My battery's getting low on my thing here. I better hustle. Yes. Okay. This is going to be a problemo. Okay. So, right. What's interesting about the Supercharger that I've designed here is that there are some parts that it's actually built upside down, believe it or not. And the reason I did it like that, camera again, the reason I did it like that is has to do with the orientation of the parts that I needed to do. So I'm just gonna build it real quick here, just to give you a rough idea of what it looks like when it's all done. So this is upside down. Pardon me. I built it upside down, and the reason I built it upside down is because I wanted to get the look of the supercharger properly, and you can only do that by using one of these window pieces. Notice that the studs are on top like they normally are, right? The female part and the male part. I needed the supercharger to replicate, the supercharger look like that. So I literally had to design the whole thing to be built upside down. So there's a particular piece here that you have to use, which is a Technic piece. I don't know if you guys can see that here. It's a 1x4. It has holes on the bottom and studs on the top. And I use that because I can actually put these 1x1s that are on the bottom of the studs, and actually I can put them in the holes so I can get the whole thing to fit upside down and still give me the studs that I need to actually put it on one of my other Lego pieces there. So anyways, so we're using, what's neat about the window piece is that it fits in with, say something like that to give you the curvature. But we're going to build it upside down. So we're going to turn this upside down and put it on this piece like that. And then the window piece goes in like that. And then we start building up the sides. So in here we've got 3 or 4 of these little stud pieces like so. A couple more on this side. And right, so this side I took off. These are just regular 1x1 studs, nothing fancy. But we are going to use one of the ones that has the hole on the side like that, so that we can put a fictional cable in there for the supercharger, which never arrived either, so lovely. And let's see here, where are the other parts? 1x1, 1x1s. Uh-oh, it looks like my Bricklink supplier screwed up one of the parts. They did not supply me the right piece. I think they got a little confused. Uh-oh. Well, I will build this one-sided. So one of the pieces that I call for, unless they're over here. Ah, no, here they are. Different baggie. Lovely. I'll show you what I'm talking about here. It's a little bit warm in my house right now. I'm sweating. Okay. So here's a 1x1 stud that is unique because it has, the normal stud on the top, but it has 2 studs, 90 degrees, so one on each side. And the reason I did that is so that when I build this thing upside down, I've got studs on both sides, and that'll become apparent here in a second why I did that. Let me just turn this around. So now again. I think you guys are going to like this design. I don't think you've ever seen anything like it. Not tooting my own horn. I do this for you guys, right? It's fun. Well, I do it for me, but I like to share. Okay, and then here's another confabled piece here. Do I have it? Or did they shortchange me on that one too? I've been shortchanged. Are you kidding me? Well, I'll just use one of these because it replicates the same thing. So I'm just going to use 2 more of these. Maybe that's what they did. Maybe they substituted for the same thing. And let me see here. Where's the other 2 that I need? Man, this is turning out to be more of an ordeal than I thought because somebody screwed up my pieces. Curse you, Bricklink. All right. You know what? I'm going to cheat. I'm just going to use... So here's what we have. It's upside down. You can see that I have studs on both sides, equal amounts. I have to build it up ever so slightly. I actually designed it with white pieces, but at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. We can use the gray because they're kind of hidden. So now what we're going to do is we're going to lock it all together with these round pieces. You can see here it's a 1x4, but it's round. And by positioning it like this, right here in the middle, and get all the pieces to lock in. Camera again. And I have 2 of those. There we go. I think this is probably as far as I can get with the supercharger here in a moment, because I don't have the pieces that I want unless they substituted for a different color, which is a no-no. If I order the parts, I want the parts the way I want. All right. Now, let me explain to you what's going on here. And this will probably come by what I'm talking about the illegal building technique. So I'm building this upside down. There's a part here that's missing. There's supposed to be a flat tile here on the bottom, but it looks like they shortchanged me. Anyways, by building it upside down like that, now I have nothing to put here on the top because it's open. You can see that's open. What I want to do is put a flat piece like this, a flat tile, 1x4 tile on the top to give me the flat look of the supercharger. Problem is that there's no studs. You can't click it together. So there is an illegal building technique. It's not used all that often, but it involves using one of these little half pins. I'll zoom in here. You guys can see that. See, this is a Technic half pin. They're typically used on the Technic pieces that have the holes on the side. You can put a half pin in there, and it gives you a stud facing out 90 degrees, much like one of these things does, right? So you can build other things. But what I've discovered is that if you take it and you turn it upside down and you actually shove it in these holes, because it will fit the long part of that, you get a stud on the top. And then you can put the cover on top. So anyways, I can't finish it right now, but that's what your finished supercharger in the design kind of looks like. It'll look like that. And there's a hole on the side where you can put the little cable. There's a piece missing here to the bottom, and there's another piece here missing on the bottom. But when it's all finished, you get studs that you can actually click in, female studs, receptacles, whatever. So you can actually put it in your design. So that's about as close as I can get to a supercharger using that red piece. Anyways, so let's set that aside. I know you guys want to get to the Cybertruck. I do too. It's super exciting. So anyways, so let's go to das Cybertruck. There you go. That's what it's going to look like. All right. So the Cybertruck building is a little different. This one I built slightly larger scale. Here's all my wheels. It looks like I'm missing the hubs there, so I'll just use the ones from the Model 3. These are a little fatter. You can see these are the wheels that I use for the Model 3, and these are the tires I use for the Cybertruck. They actually use the same hub. It's just the tire's a little fatter, just to give it that off-road look. So we'll get to that a little bit later. And I bought enough pieces here to build, hopefully, 2 Cybertrucks at the end of the day when I'm finished. All right. The Cybertruck design is based on, let's see here, 4 studs out, is based on 8 studs wide rather than the usual 6 that we build the minifig cars. Only because, well, it'll become apparent a little bit because of the shape that I wanted to actually get to. All right, so now I need these wheel bits here. Boy, oh boy, they better not be shortchanging me those parts. This is going to be really, really stinky. Here they are. Nope. Hold on. All right. Oh, there's got to be another bag of parts around here that's missing. I got this sneaking suspicion that's what's going on. So I've got all the fenders. Let me see here. I've got the fenders. Got the side pieces. There's some pieces, unless they're buried in here. Yeah, here they are. Haha, for the wheels. I was looking for parts for the wheels. It looks like there's way more parts than I actually need. This, like I said, is because I ordered enough parts to build at least 2 of these Cybertrucks. All right. So here on the bottom, we're going to flip it over, and we're going to use these 2x2s with the holes as the axles for the Cybertruck. So we just slap on 2 on each side. Camera again. Camera is annoying today. I'm using my video camera. So for some reason, it seems to time out. All right, just to give you a little bit of a sense of scale. So this is still 6 studs wide, but you can see that already it's a, I mean, we haven't even dealt with the bumpers yet, but anyways, the Cybertruck's going to be a little bit wider. And all right, so the back of the car now needs, let's see here, what are we dealing with? Did I do that incorrectly? 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, yeah, it's hanging off the edge here, so just had to get my spatial relationship properly set up here. And then we have an upside down Studner piece. I know it's here. Here it is, right here. This is a unique piece. It's a flat tile, it's a 2x2 tile that has studs upside down. See that? Normally you would have like a hole in the bottom. Like this is a normal 2x2. So you have studs like that, and then on the bottom you would have the holes. This one is a flat tile on one side, but it has studs on the other. What's neat about this is you can actually put these two together and you get a flat. Anyways, I'm using it here to give us a flat surface, you know, some tiles there. I don't know. You don't need to use that. I could have used just any, but I don't know. I was playing around with it. What the heck? All right, so now we're actually going to start building up the top part of the Cybertruck with these pieces. And here's that piece with the studs, not on top. Here it is right here. I have the pieces in here. Okay. Just like I used one of these 1x4s on the Model 3 with the studs on the 90-degree, that's exactly the same thing we're going to be using here in the Cybertruck. So that will give us the mounting surface for the front bumper. The rear of the Cybertruck is different because I actually designed this, with the loading ramp. Okay. So let's see here. What else we got? Some of these pieces are in here. I need those. Would you guys rather that I talk less and build, or you want me to keep describing what I'm doing? Let me know in the comments if you're still there. I haven't bored you to death, I hope. All right, moving along here. So now we've got a forward here. The other thing too about the Cybertruck is I tried to keep this color scheme as close to the real thing as possible, including the white dash. That'll come later. Okay, so what are we at here? I'm going to try and rush through this one a little faster than most of the other stuff that I've been doing. There's so many pieces here. There we go. Okay. So then we have this one that goes like this. This one goes there. And then these pieces are really interesting. These are, hopefully you can see that. So 1x2 with a clip on the end. And I use these pieces to be able to get the side skirts on the model, on the on the Cybertruck to give me the look I was looking for. Because, you know, as I said earlier, to get compound curves on a car is very difficult at this scale. The Cybertruck, on the other hand, with Lego, lends itself a little better to getting this the look that you want. Yeah, this is definitely wider than. Well, there go my automatic blinds. It's 2 o'clock in the afternoon, yeah? Oh, 3:30. Okay. Now you can see the Cybertruck is already a little wider. So those are the fenders. And if I compare it to the Model 3, you can see that it's already, you know, about 10 studs wide. The actual car is 8, but with the fares flaring out, you get 10 studs. At the end of the day, the scale still works. Trust me on this. You'll see. All right, so now we're going to build the front of the truck a little bit. So if I remember correctly, we're doing some 90-degree stuff here on the front again, some more SNOT technique, as we call it, to be able to get the angles that we want. I'm trying to rush through this one a little quicker here because, you know, we've been at this already an hour, and you guys are probably bored with the camera. Sorry about that. but I don't want to take up more time than I really need to. It's already an hour on this. Okay. So 2 of those, and then we've got some of these side elements here. So just give me a second here. Let me get my bearings straight. Here they are. Okay. So this one and this one. So we're using 1x2 with a slope on the end. And what I'm doing is I'm clicking those behind the angle. So we're building at a 90-degree angle. Typically, you know, with the Lego stuff, it's always top to bottom, but now we're starting doing some of that SNOT technique where we're getting the front of the car in that shape that we want. This is the hardest part of the car, was trying to decide how to get some of the compound curves to look right. Or not compound curves, but the actual, to get some of the pieces to fit in such a way that I could actually make it look like a Cybertruck. So I decided to use these, I don't know, 90-degree half studs, these little gray ones right here. And they have studs on the side, so that allows me to stick something on the side here, which look like these little wedges, these little cheese wedges, which are buried in here somewhere. If I can find them. Yeah, here they are. Let's put that there. This is gonna be a real mess when I'm done. Man, I wish I could find those other pieces for the Model 3. I have a feeling somebody shortchanged me. Not happy camper here. All right, so we're using some of these little cheese wedges. Let's see here, 90 degrees like that. Some of this stuff that I'm building right now is a little bit on the flimsy side until it gets all locked down with some of the other parts. All right, so you can see here that we've got a little different shape. By using these pieces that are half length, you're starting to get a little bit of texture on there. So you can see that the slope of the black pieces is different from the gray. This all makes sense once we start locking it down. Okay, so now we need a, where is it here? Flat. Here it is, right here. So a 6-stud flat tile on the front. Getting these pieces to stay put during this process. And there we go, like that. Okay, so now we got that locked in so that pieces don't move around. And got to simulate the Cybertruck's lights. So that's why I have this piece here in the front that has 2 studs on the top. So we can take 2 of these 1x2 clear pieces. Right there, those are going to be the lights. It'll all be buried here in a moment. It'll make more sense. And then we have, oh, that's interesting. They don't click onto anything. Huh. Well, that was a mistake on my part. But that's okay. They're going to click into something else here in a second. I'll just set those aside. Right. Then we flip the truck over. We have an upside down black wedge like so. I'll put that like that. And right. And then we have some 1x1 clear, which simulate the fog lights. Hopefully I can find those pieces. If not, I may have to come back and do it later. Ah, frustrating. Heated people shortchanging my parts. Oh, I think I found them in this little bag. 1, 2, there they are, right there. So what I did here is I used 2 little tiny clear tiles. You guys can see that. And I put them here on the bottom of the Cybertruck. It's tough because when you look at the Cybertruck in real life or in pictures, you can't see, but it actually does have fog lights on the bottom of the car. And unless you pay really attention, it's hard to see them, but they're there. All right, so now I've got 2 of these little brackets. It also has tow hooks. Sorry. It also has tow hooks. so I've simulated those. Parts are flying everywhere, guys. All right, so I've used these little hooks. This is the same type of piece that I used in the Model 3 for the screen. So I put 2 of these little guys in here, and that simulates the hidden tow hook. So you can start, the bumper's starting to take shape on the bottom of the Cybertruck. So you got those little tow hooks in there. All right, so now we'll flip the car back around the right way around, and we start building up the sides of the car. So I've got these little clips here, and we just use 4 of those. It'll make sense here in a moment once I click them all in. We'll start building this up. Okay, so now we use, is that a 6 or an 8? What is that? That's a, I put that far back enough. That's a 10. Well, there's your problem. That's a 6. Here's an 8 right here. Okay, so we do this on one side. And same thing, an 8 and a 6. When I say these numbers, I'm talking about numbers of studs. All right, so I got these on basically hinges, and the reason for that is that we can angle these down and get the sides of the truck here. It'll become apparent here once I get through this section here. So now we got to build up the sides of these 2 sections. So what I've used is, I don't know, these 90-degree 1x4 tiles, and we just stick 4 of those on. Like that. If the stupid fender would stop falling off, I'd be all set. There we go. There we go. So now we're starting to, you can start to see that V shape on the bottom of the Cybertruck, right? Okay, I already did that. I'm ahead of myself. Okay, so here on the back, now we're going to start building up the back of the car. So we need to put this gray piece along the back like that. And some more of these gray little guys. These are inboard. Maybe I should check the comments here. Is there a kit? No, it's my design. If you're late coming into the broadcast or the stream, please check the description. I've got links in there for downloading the instructions for the Model 3 that we built a little earlier. Looks like that, and as well as the Cybertruck. And the instructions are free. Download them. Do what you will. All right, so now 2 more cheese wedges. I'm going to stick these here on the back. All right, so we've got a tile there. Whoop. Sorry if I go silent once in a while. I'm just trying to get I want to plow through this as fast as I can and show you guys the results. Where's that damn wedge? A whole pile of those. Where is it? Where is it? Missing that. Is that what I'm looking for? Yeah, so. Need that here. I'll just use one of these. Okay. So there we go. Right. So here in the back, I started using the same technique that I did with the Model 3, is using these little whoop, son of a gun. Sorry about that. Hold on. Gotta get it. Oh, there we go. Okay. Sorry about that. Toss that there. So we've got these half studs, or sorry, 90-degree studs that way, and then we've got this little bracket piece. Same thing. We use white ones like that on the Model 3, and we do the same thing. We just stick them. This on the Model 3. I had the studs On the Model 3, I had the studs on the opposite side. But in this case, I'm angling them upwards. Again, it's a little bit much to be explaining why I'm doing it like this. Once the whole thing is finished, you'll probably understand a little bit better why I'm doing these techniques. Okay, so I've done that step. Okay, here's the fun part. This is where I start building the interior. Okay, that piece there. Here's a whole bunch of these plates that I bought. Just dump them out here. Okay. Uh-oh, I better hurry up. My battery in my iPad's dying. Lovely. Okay. That one goes like so. And then we've got 4 across the back. And that is a black one that goes like that. And 1x4. 1x4 goes across this ways. 1x2. Like that. All right, so a couple more fenders here along the back. So the fenders go like this. So it's starting to take a little bit of shape. Again, a little bit by a little bit as you go. But once you see what I'm doing here, you'll understand what's going on. So 2 more angles like this, 90-degree pieces like this. This one, like I said, is designed a little wider because I wanted to fit more than one minifig in here. Is that a 6 or an 8? That's an 8. I need a 6 right here. Okay. The Model 3 is designed to fit one Lego figure. This one, I think I can fit at least 3, maybe 4. Okay, moving along. I'm chooching here, guys. I'm trying to get through this. Okay, so we got 1 on that side, 1 on that side. Hopefully, I'm not missing any parts here on the Cybertruck. This is really going to be upsetting if I'm missing some stuff. It's just not going to be fun at all. Okay, 2 more of these little fun bits here that I did. So I'll put that one on the inboard. Same thing on the opposite side. Yeah, okay. Fenders. Yeah, some interesting techniques that I came up with on this one. Right, so 2 of these little guys. What I'm building here is the rear of the Cybertruck, and again, I'm trying to get the pieces just to be right. Those are not the right ones, which is the ones I'm looking for. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Yeah, okay, so this one's kind of an interesting because I went kind of 90 degrees and then half on. I need to revise these instructions so it actually will work a little better. This is an interesting combination. I think, what did I do? I just screwed it up. All right, that goes like that. Okay, how did I do that? That goes like that. Camera, frustrating. That video camera drives me cuckoo. Okay. Did I do that right? Wow, that's interesting. It's almost an illegal building technique there that I used. Look at that. Well, it works. There's a gap, but it works. Ah. Now what? Okay, there we go. Okay, so that goes like that. I'm going to take the brightness down on my iPad so it lasts a little longer. Okay. Yeah, that's. Yeah, I forgot about that piece that I built, and it's definitely a little on the odd side, but hey, it works. It works. Yeah, that's weird. Okay. Okay. And then we have some of these little wedge pieces that go upside down to give us the shape that we need. Some of these are a little precarious because they got to get locked down. Otherwise, unless they come apart and not line up properly. Okay, now we got the red taillights. Okay, this is the part where it kind of gets fun. By the way, the design that I did here has the taillights in the fender part, not across the back. It's a compromise that I had to do. Okay, so let's see here. What do we got? So we have this piece that fits in like that. So 3 studs, excuse me, 3 studs in. So that goes across the front like that. Yeah, okay, good. And this is where I got to revise instructions because this piece has got to sit inside the front here. So there's one of these corner pieces that goes underneath. So unfortunately, there's no studs there holding it on. So I actually have it in the wrong step in the building instructions. So skip it if you have to, but you'll come back to it later. Okay, so then I do that correctly. Oops, wrong way. This way. Like that. Yeah, that should tie on. Now we're getting there. Okay. Right, and then that's an 8, so that goes across the back like that. Yeah, I should revise those instructions a little bit, but that's okay. I'm sure you guys, if you want to download this stuff, you can work it out. It's smart. That one's too long. It needs to be 6. There's a problem. I'll use the 8 instead of the 10. That's better. Okay. Now we're getting somewhere. This bit's a little bit fiddly. Come on. Okay. Whoa. My stomach. I haven't eaten lunch, so I am hungry. Past lunchtime. Camera again, sorry. At least I hear the shutter close, so that way I know when it goes offline. I've got two of those little guys here. Did they shortchange me on those? I have to use black ones. I'll use a couple of black ones for now, unless I can find them. Okay, I'll use black ones. All right, so we've got these two little clips like that. These are going to go along the back, and that will give us a pivot point here. It'll make sense here in a second. Let me just put them. They're supposed to be gray, but it looks like I'm missing them. Whatever. Move along. All right, here's the seat back. And then two of these. Yeah, this is definitely bigger scale, that's for sure. But that's okay, it still works. All right, on the inside of the car, we start putting the seats down. So there's this little wedge, a wedge in this direction, and a wedge in this direction, like so. Whoop, that's flat. Oh, that's okay. So you can see on the inside of the car, there'll be a position for the driver, one passenger here, and then another passenger there, maybe two passengers in the back. We'll see how it ends up in the mix at the end of the day. All right. So 4 of these black tiles, these go across, and finally, let's hopefully get my front fenders to stop flopping around. Give some solidification to this whole mess. There you go, across there. Okay, and again, I used the same technique that I did on the Model 3 to give me the screen on the Cybertruck. So I put an offset clip in this position. And of course, we had to have the white dash, right? So I use 2 of these little white slopes like that to give us the white dash inside the car. It's the best I can do. And once again, one of these pieces, wherever it went, there's that one, that belongs over there. I use white or gray. Oh, here it is right here. And a flat tile here somewhere, unless it's misplaced. Buried somewhere. Anyways, same technique as the Model 3. We're using one of these wedge pieces, and you're supposed to put a flat, excuse me, piece on the front. And it appears that I am short that piece. I mean, I have some in my other Lego, but I'm not about to dig it up right now just for the sake of finishing this thing the way it's supposed to look. I'll finish that later. All right, so let me just, so that goes into position there. You can see I'm starting to get the screen. Yes, the screen is supposed to be in the middle, but I got a place to put this. I got to put the steering wheel in there too, right? So, and of course, if you live in a right-hand drive country, you can reverse these instructions around a little bit if you want, and you can put the steering wheel on the other side if it suits you. Whatever works for you. Okay, now we're getting to the fun part. Now we're going to start fleshing out the front of the car to give us the shape that we're looking for. So I got a bunch of these little odds and sods here, so hopefully I have them. So we're using, similar to what I did for the rear of the Model 3 with the spoiler. So we've got this 1x2 tile that's kind of cut in the corner. And by sticking that in the front of the Cybertruck, we're starting to get a little bit of the front shape. Like that. We're going to flesh it out here. Hold on. One like that, one like that. Okay. This is where the fun really begins. I got to do a bunch of these. So I got a whole pile of these cheese wedges. And one in the back corner. and flush it out. Camera again. And then we just use all these little wedges to give us the shape that we're looking for on the side of the car. I'll show you here in a second. Just let me finish this and then you'll get the idea. How are we doing for time? Oh God, an hour and a half. Hey, you know what? I don't care. I got nothing better to do, right? I did all my maintenance on the forum today, so it gives me the time to do some of this stuff. I must say that, I mean, the Model 3 was fun to build, but the Cybertruck is the one I've been really looking forward to doing. Oh, by the way, there is a larger, if you might have followed my tweets some time ago, that there is definitely a kit that's has been submitted to Lego to be a possible contender to be turned into an official kit, and it's actually a larger scale version of the Cybertruck. Right now, it's in the review process because it needs at least 10,000 supports or votes or whatever to make it into the voting mechanism that they have to use. So it's moved on to that stage. So hopefully someday it might turn into a kit, and it's much larger than this one. Obviously, it is not minifig scale by any stretch of the imagination. At least I don't think so. Okay, so I want to do this part here, and I'll show you where we stand with this. Just give me a second. Let me finish this up. Ooh, gotta be careful here, otherwise some stuff will start falling apart. And oh, please, please. Okay. Yeah, getting there. Got to get that angle right. I'm using a hinge. Just move it down like that, and then you get the hinge part. Okay, now we'll start building up the back side of the truck. So this is the fun part. So we're using these clips, and those are fours. So we use where did they go? Where did they go? These they got to be here in the kit. I hope. Didn't shortchange me. I hope. Oh no, here 1, 2. Okay. Oh no, they're threes. Sorry, my mistake. If you're just tuning in, this is the first time I'm actually building this kit that I designed. So if I'm making mistakes as I go, that's just part for the course, right? All right, I need a 1x1. Where are they? Where are they? Where are my 1x1s? Come on, guys. Here's one. Okay. Where's the other one? Where's the other one? Here it is. Okay. And then a right angle like that. This is almost like a sub-assembly. We're building the back part of the car now. Again, it's one of those things that you try to get the angles just right. Try to get the angles just right so that you can pass it off, right? Okay. Okay, and then a couple of these, like that. All right. That. that, and then 2 of those in place. Camera. Okay, so we have one like that, one like that, and then these 2 pieces. I tried to simulate the tonneau cover, so that's why I alternated between gray and black. Again, at this scale, it can be a little difficult to do. So I may do with what I could. We're in the home stretch, guys. So hang in there, hang in. We're in the home stretch. I really like to know where those extra ones are. I don't know. They shortchanged me. I'm missing some pieces. They didn't give me critical ones, but that's okay. I'll just use black. These are supposed to be, these little clips that I'm using, they're supposed to be gray on the outside. I'm just going to use black for now. Follow my instructions, not what Bricklink sent me. Frustrating. Okay, here's the fun part. Need a windshield. So what did I do? I bought window panes, black or smoked window panes. And by putting the window pane on a hinge, we can get a Cybertruck look out of that, right? Let me just put the front piece. We're in the home stretch here, boys. Okay, so now, did I screw that up? Okay, these 2 pieces are screwed up. Wrong pieces, Trevor. Slow down. Okay, so this is wrong. This is supposed to be one of these guys. That. I had the wrong type of clip. I had a male clip on here. It's supposed to be female clip, so I'll just switch them around. Here it is right here. Okay. Bottom of the windshield. Okay, so now that clips in like so. There we go. Are you guys ready for this? Not done yet. So we got the downward slopes here. We got the slope of the car. We've got the angle of the windshield. I mean, look at that. That a Cybertruck or what? Uncle Trevor, pretty smart guy. Okay, so now we're just going to build the rear end of the lift gate on the back, and we're just about done. Just about done. Where those pieces go? They were in here 2 seconds. Here it is, right here. I bought extras of these windshields because they're really hard to come by. So I didn't fool around. I just bought as many as I could get my hands on. And then I put the full across the middle like that. Okay, we're getting there, guys. I'm almost done. I'm almost done. Then we can sign off. All right. Get those parts to line up. Oh boy. Okay, two axles. Push them through. And use these little ferrules here. These are the Technic ferrules. You just slide them on. By the way, whenever you do axles or that type of thing, when you use these ferrules, don't cinch them down. You want the wheels to turn. So, you know, don't make them too tight. Otherwise, I mean, it just won't work, right? And try to center them because otherwise it's just going to look dumb. All right. I leave my axles a little bit on the loose side. Okay, so right. And my camera again. Okay, so since I seem to be missing my wheels, I'm going to steal the wheels from the Model 3. I'm just going to use these hubs. So I'm going to pop these out. I'm going to use 4 of these. This is it, guys. This is the last bit of it. I'll give you a whole grand tour here in a second. I'm just going to steal these 4 wheels, or these hubs, and I am going to. If I can pop the bloody hubcap out. Now it's stuck in there. I need a pokey bit. You got a pokey bit? I'm going to use one of these. Yeah, there we go. That works. Okay. So I'll just take the hubs out. The reason I'm taking the hubs out from the Model 3 is I have a different look for the Cybertruck. Okay, there we go. Right, so these are the standard, hubs that I'm using. We use these kind of fake wheel covers for the Model 3 to give it that look. What we're going to use for the Cybertruck, on the other hand, is a different look. We're going to use just these regular round 4x4s like that. These 4x4 rounds. So let me just stick these wheels in here. Get these tires done. These tires are hard to come by too, by the way. I bought every one of them I could get my hands on. Good thing about Bricklink is that there are literally thousands of suppliers out there. So, okay, so the way these wheels work is I just took the regular hubs from the Model 3. I'm waiting for some more parts to come in, obviously. So thicker tires, and then we're using these round 2x2s, and we're just going to stick them inside the hub backwards. I can get it to go in there. Or did I do it with the, okay, yeah. Yeah, not the same HUDs that I ordered. Yeah, okay, so I'm going to have to omit those for now because they won't necessarily fit. So anyways, I'm just going to stick these wheels on and we'll finish it for today. These wheels are going to stick out a little further than they actually do on the final design because these are not the correct hubs. The hubs that you're supposed to use have the Technic axles that go all the way through the hub. This one has little holes on the end, and unfortunately I can't push them all the way through. So if you do get the right parts and you push them all the way through, well, that gives you enough of the axle to put these little hubcaps on, and in my mind, it simulates the look of the Cybertruck in its finish. Now, if I had shorter axles, would I have shorter axles? It would look better. Anyways, that is it. Okay, guys, I'm going to back it out here a little bit. Let me show you what I'm. There is the minifig scale Cybertruck. The wheels are sticking out too far. Again, like I said, if you get the right hubs, they'll be more inside the car. So there you go. That's what it looks like. So there's the front of the car, and you've got your hidden headlights in there. You've got the tow bar hooks. What are those? They're the fog lights. Sloping windshield, and a ramp that comes down. So you can put your Cyber Quad in the back. And of course, it does open up if you want to put your minifig in there. There's enough room for several minifigs. Let me grab Elvis out of the pink Cadillac. Let me put Elvis in here. There you go. Maybe his name is Franz. I don't know. Elon. Let's close this up. Yeah, his hair is too big, so let me take his hair off because otherwise I can't close it. There you go. Okay. So there's your minifig sitting inside. There's room for 2 more minifigs. And you've got the ramp that closes up like so. And yeah, so a bit of a grand tour. I'm going to fix a couple of things. I'm not 100% on these 2 pieces on the back. I'll probably revise the instructions on that. But there you go. That's what the Cybertruck looks like in minifig scale that fits in with the rest. So here's a pink Cadillac for scale. I mean, it's not that far off. These are usually designed to 6 studs wide, like I've done here for the Model 3. So you can see that, Cybertruck's a bigger car, right? So I think it still fits in the scale. Anyways, I hope you like it. Again, check the forum. There's links at the bottom. Hold on. Let me fix up this camera here so we can look at you guys. There we go. So there are links in the video description at the bottom where you can download the PDFs for free. So on the Model 3, there's every color that Tesla sells in the car and every color you want. And the Cybertruck, well, there's only one color right now, which is the gray stainless steel. So definitely check that out. In the PDFs, at the very end of the PDF, there's a complete list of all the parts, build materials with the official LEGO part numbers that you can use if you want to go to Bricklink and order your own and build it. So that's my gift for you guys. Feel free to use it. Anyways, I hope you're doing well in the shelter-in-place situation. Like most people, I got to keep myself occupied and do different things. And one of the things that I like to do is build Lego, and I got more stuff coming. So I thought I would design these things for you guys and give them away, and you guys can do what you want. It's 2 hours. I'm going to give up now. I'm tired. I'm hungry. So thanks for watching, guys, and I hope you appreciate it. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel. I got more stuff coming for you. And make sure you check out the forum. It's totally free. It's a great place to spend time. And, of course, with the Model Y being delivered, lots and lots of people are going on there and talking about all the things that they want to know about and what kind of mods are going to do to the cars and stuff. And it's only going to get better because Cybertruck is coming next sometime later next year. So anyways, that's it for me, and I hope you appreciate the live stream, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for joining in. Thanks for chatting, and I appreciate it. See you guys.